they say things like, this will need, I don't know how much for the problem to be solved. And then they set a plan, and they will talk about a timeline for this plan to take place, to be implemented. And then they give short presentations, 3 to 5 minute presentations, okay, telling their colleagues about their plan and how they're going to implement this plan and how effective this plan is from their perspective. And of course, an interesting discussion ensues with the classmates as to, oh, this is useful, this is not useful, why are you doing this, how effective is this for our country, and things like that. So this is one thing, that they are not graded on this, okay? It adds an element of fun because it is collaborative, and students are interested because it is something that they can relate to. They have been through the system of education, but different educational systems, because we have the IB, we have American diploma, we have IG, we have Sanawiyya Amma, the Egyptian local certificate, and then when they brainstorm, students coming from different education backgrounds, then they can do something, and hopefully it's going to be something that that is relevant and interesting at the same time. And they can see there is a problem, and now we are contributing to the solution of this problem. So this was the first task. Reflections. Reflections on things that the students have actually experiences that they have gone through themselves. So they are given a list early on in the semester. They are given a list of university events that are taking place, and they are asked to choose 2 or 3 depending on how many activities I want them to engage in during the semester. So we have startup exhibitions for entrepreneurs, okay? The Student Wellbeing Center gives workshops on student well-being, on how to handle stress, how to be an effective member of society, how to overcome certain anxieties, and different kinds of things that the students learn from. They go, when we were in the face-to-face situation, then I asked them to go and attend these workshops, go to the exhibition themselves, okay? Find 2 interesting startups and write reflections on them. These events are usually, or guest speakers. Sometimes, I think we once had the governor of the central bank once came and visited our campus, and we had a business unit, and I took the students and I went with them to see to attend his talk. Sometimes we have authors, well-known authors come on campus and give presentations. So I ask them to go themselves. Sometimes I'm able to go with them, and this is actually becomes more interesting and more engaging when they see that the teacher is herself interested and she is accompanying the students, okay? And then they write a reflection on what they have attended. But of course, before they do that, they have to sign up to attend those events, and they have to be relevant to what we are dealing with during the semester. And they take down notes while they're attending, and then they write a 300-word reflection, which prepares them for something that they are going to do towards the end of the semester, because they have to write 2 reflection papers. So it is something that is not actually part of the curriculum, but it helps, it complements what they do as part of the curriculum. I don't know if I can see anything. If anybody has questions or anything, you can write in the chat, or you can actually, I have people coming. Oh, okay. If you have something, you can write in the chat if you have questions, or if you want to interrupt and ask something while I'm talking, I don't mind at all. If Mr. bin Mohammed has no problem with that. Okay. Now, interview.
Yes, no objection, of course. I mean, anyone who would like to say something,
Thank you, sir. Interviews on theme-related topics. And if you want to write, like, I want you to leave this session with something that you hopefully intend to go back to your classroom and use this semester, because these ideas are, I have really tried them out, and they have been really, really very interesting and engaging. And I tell you about this one, interviews on theme-related topics. Students are given a list of topics to choose one from on gender, all right? Because this is the topic that we're beginning on Sunday, we're beginning the gender unit. So they may decide to modify or change it. Sometimes they don't like the title of the topic, they want to modify something. I allow them to do that as long as they, it is something that is relevant. They go out of class. So if they have a 20-minute break, I make the break 40 minutes. And they enjoy that because they go out in groups. Sometimes they choose their group members. Sometimes I assign the groups depending on the situation. Groups of 3 or 4. And I ask them to interview at least 10 people on campus. They want, if they want to call their parents on the phone, they want to call their friends who are not on campus, they may do that. And then they put answers to the questions when they are outside of class. They come back and they prepare a short report on the results, and they have documentation. Some of them actually, I never ask them to have a video of the interview, but they do. Sometimes they come, they say, see, we asked those people. And once they saw the president of the university and they asked him, he was walking on campus and they stopped him and asked him, and they videoed the interview with the university president. The question was about, we were in this interim period when we were, we needed a new president in 12-13, I think. And the question was on gender. Do you think a female president, do you accept that a female president or a female be the president of Egypt? Okay, so they went and asked him. And on another occasion, they went to the program director who was not available. She was busy. And then they said, okay, we'll go to the president of the university. And they did. And it was really amazing. The students sometimes come up with unorthodox ways about doing things, original ideas that you as a teacher would never think of. Then they give a presentation and then they decide, okay, this was the best presentation. No, this was nicer. Okay, and then they give reasons why. Of course, they have to give logical reasons why they thought this presentation was better than the other. And the report includes the reflection, what they thought about the experience, how did the interviews go, did they think people were biased, especially when it comes to gender. But gender is not the only theme I ask the students to go out and interview people on. There are also other things that they do. Then we have a class discussion that ensues after this. Now, visual or artistic representations are really fun. I don't do them very often, but they are something that students love doing, but they have to be in groups because it is difficult for a student to take individual responsibility for an artistic representation of something. So I ask them individually first to think of a visual representation of a particular concept. For example, education, our course, English 0 to 10. How would you visually represent the course, okay? Or culture, a particular culture, all right? Then they brainstorm ideas. Then they think alone for a minute or 2 minutes. Then they put their heads together. And I do that in breakout rooms now on Zoom, since we are online. And they brainstorm for this visual representation. And they have the option to write a poem. If they don't know how to draw, they write a poem, they compose a poem, and actually they come up with very interesting compositions. They are really, really interesting, that they express their attitude towards this particular concept. And then they share the work on a document camera, if we are face-to-face, on the Zoom shared screen, if we are online. I would have loved to share something of this, but I didn't take my students' permission, so I'm sorry, I cannot share those. Now, the picture essay or photo essay is something else that is interesting. I did one yesterday. Students are fed up with essay writing, essay. And I noticed sometimes that they have a problem developing body paragraphs that have a main idea that reflects the content of the paragraph. So what I asked them to do is, instead of writing an essay, we are going to do a photo essay. How? So what they do is that they prepare pictures. I give them 2 or 3 prompts. They choose one of the prompts, okay? And then they are given some time. Sometimes it's a week if it's something that is really needs time for them to work on. And sometimes it's just a class session that goes for 1.5 hours for them to find 1 or 2 photos that represent the main idea of the paragraph. But they have to write the main idea on top and then include the 1 or 2 photos that reflect this idea. This will focus their attention on the main idea of this particular paragraph. It will be clear to the reader what it is that the writer wants to convey as a message, as a main idea, because many times they keep writing. What is this paragraph about? We don't know as readers. So this is something that really focuses their attention on the main task, and it's fun. It adds an element of fun because it's different, it's original, and we don't do it all the time, by the way. It's just like once a semester, they can do something like that. So 1 or 2 photos for the introduction, 1 or 2 photos for each body paragraph. So all in all, maximum of 10 photos that they include. And then they share the stories with the class on Google Docs or in a shared, in a short presentation. Okay, right. Is there anything in the chat that that anybody wants to? A certificate. Someone is asking about the certificate. Okay, like nothing. Not.
Yeah, certificates will be sent to all attendees. I'll share something at the end of the session.
The attendees. Okay. All right. Thank you. The last one, and then we will have time for questions. The Egyptian cabinet. When we're doing the political science, and of course this can be done with your own cabinet, different ministers. So I give them a list of the names of the ministers in our cabinet, and when we start working with the political science unit, then they select one minister whose role they will assume in we have round table discussion, and we really sit. My classroom is a lab that is really big, and I put them in the form of either a round table or rectangular table or whatever, in order for all of us to see each other. And I don't interfere. They begin, I assign a prime minister, and they love this because they are assuming the role of someone important in the country. They love that. One of them is the Minister of Tourism, Minister of the Interior, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Any minister they choose, we have more than 30 ministers, and our students are usually 20 on average in class. So each one the students are instructed to think of 2 problems that their ministry suffers from, and then they suggest solutions. And I'm standing there, I don't interfere. The others do either interrupt or add solutions or refute some of the suggested solutions, and they give logical reasons. So they have to have read about the problems ahead of time, and they have to be aware of the situation in the country, and they have to be respectful towards the people they are talking to, and they have to be also respectful when they are giving their ideas, when they are suggesting solutions for the problems that the ministries have. Okay, this brings me to the last one, and then there are other things that I do use, but I don't have the explanation for each, because I think they are self-explanatory. Discussion board, we have, if you're using Blackboard, and I'm sure if you're using Moodle or other things, you will have discussion board as a medium for you to just put a discussion question or issue, and then the students start threads where they give their opinion about whatever you have, a question that you have raised, for example. Films or songs that you share with the students, and then you discuss issues related. For example, we do in business, we do The Devil Wears Prada, and it is both relevant to gender and business. And then we discuss different things. Would you accept males? Do you accept that a female be your boss, for example? Why not? And things like that. Songs, the same thing. And the interesting thing about songs is that short, 3 to 5 minutes, and they lead to an interesting discussion, and they add also an element of fun to the classroom. Posters, and the posters could be digital. Since we are online now, they can use digital posters. When we are face-to-face, they can put a paper poster, and we actually put them on the walls for everyone to see for some time. Student-led discussions are also fun because the students themselves in pairs choose the topics, okay? And they find an article, a relevant article, they give it to everyone, and then everyone is supposed to read, annotate, and then they come and they lead the discussion. And these are all, or mostly, not all, student-centered activities that, that make the class more interesting and engaging for the students. Now, I have a few recommendations that have to do with co-curricular activities. These are very important for any program, for any academic program, okay, in higher education. So creating and implementing those activities are something that I think we should think about, not only as teachers, but as administration. And they require commitment from the faculty, administration, and everyone involved, the stakeholders. Resources should be allocated because sometimes money would be needed, but not the ones that I talked about, but other activities may require money, especially if you do things that have to do with service learning or community-based learning. These are things that will require money if students will have to commute to other places to serve people who are in need. Periodic meetings should be held to brainstorm ideas for appropriate co-curricular activities. And I think students should be involved in the decision-making. You can give them the choice. Do you want to do that, this or that? Do you think this is going to be more interesting, more conducive to learning, to achieving your learning outcomes, or what? Okay. So these are my references, and this is my email. And if you have any questions or any comments, I am here. I think we have 5 minutes for any questions. I think I'll stop the share in order to see everyone and see if anybody has comments or questions. I'm here.
Yes, we do have a few minutes. Miss Yasmine, a couple of people are asking, maybe you saw that in the chat.
No.
Are asking about the picture essay.
Yes. Maybe I can share something. But I haven't taken the students' permission actually. Let me see if I can share something now that they did one yesterday actually that I haven't looked at. So maybe while I'm answering another question, maybe I can.
I needed to ask.
Yes.
How can we watch? Where can we find the recording of this presentation?
I allowed it is going to be on the TESOL Arabia YouTube channel, right, Mr.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Let me I did something on Google Classroom yesterday. I gave them the picture essay and they were supposed to, let me find my, if I have time, if not, I can, if you email me, my email is Yasmine, YASMINE, at aucegypt.edu. This is my email address. And I just want to take the students' permission because before I can share anything with you, I'm sorry. It's just academic honesty. I cannot teach students academic honesty and not practice it myself. I'm sorry. So I'll ask my students permission, and I have many students, I'm sure, who will grant permission, I'm sure. So if you can, who asked this question? Can I? Who asked?
A couple of ladies, Miss Amina and Dr. Marwa.
Can I have their email? Where can I find their email addresses? I'll email them the samples myself.
They should write their email in the chat, or best if they email you and then you can respond, I think.
Okay, I'll do that, promise, I'll do that. Okay. Anybody else has questions, anything that needs to be clarified?
You're talking a lot about this co-curricular activities. So when it comes to something, let's say, related to biology or, I don't know, medicine, for instance, to what extent does the expert teacher comes on board with you to, get the project going?
That's an interesting question. Thank you very much, Mr. Ben Mohammed. Actually, we don't have an expert teacher here because we are a liberal arts, we follow the liberal arts system. And what happens is that we give students introductory chapters from academic books that they actually use as freshmen, all right? So it's not something that is going to require a lot of background knowledge on the part of the teacher. They are all into, so in biology, for example, we work with bioethics. Is it ethical for people to donate organs? Is it ethical to have abortion? Is it ethical? And we try to get away from religion because if we involve religion, then there will be a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements. Yeah. So we talk about ethics, values, morals, All right. So nothing really major that needs a lot of expert knowledge.
Experts, right. I see what you mean. Correct.
Okay. Anything else before we end?
Can I ask about the discussion board?
Yes, the discussion board is on Blackboard, Afaf. And what happened?
After they have posted their opinions and they shared in the discussion, what else do they do after that?
The thing is, this is a little bit time consuming because you as a teacher, I think because you want to show them that you care, you respond to each of their responses, which is very time consuming. Or if you don't want to do that and you can collect the different views and you can come to class first thing in the morning and you comment on general points that they have added to the discussion board, this is an option because you don't want to spend a lot of time replying to their threads.
Okay, do they reply to each other?
Sometimes, but with my students this semester, because they don't know each other well yet, because we are online, only 2 people have replied to others who have said something.
Okay.
I'll try it in gender, and I think there will be more replies in gender because we have boys and girls, and we have talked about women's rights, and there were some heated discussions among the boys and girls. So I expect if I just throw a question at them in the discussion board, this will lead to a very interesting communication thread, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Afaf, for your questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yasmine.
Thank you, sir.
That was an amazing presentation.
It was really an honor and really to be there. I would have loved to be there face to face with Afaf, my friend, Amani, my friend, and Iman, because we were all going to be in Abu Dhabi. But inshallah, next time, inshallah, things will be better and we'll be over this, inshallah, soon.
So for colleagues who would like more info about the picture essay, please email Ms. Yasmine and she will come back to you, okay?
Okay, and thank you all for your comments. Thank you.
Ms. Yasmine, you shared your email address with everybody.
Yes, Iman actually did put my email address. Is this chat going to show in the recording later? I'm not sure if this will show.
I'm not so sure whether the chat window shows in the recordings.
Okay, maybe you want to take a screenshot of my email, and it's in the presentation which you will see, which will be part of the YouTube video channel by TESOL Arabia. Thank you very much again, and enjoy the rest of the
Thank you, Ms. Yasmine. Your certificate will come to you, okay, by email.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for supporting the event.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Bye.